From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Labour rejects federal government's fresh 60,000 naira minimum wage offer and seizes on 494,000 naira. Again, contradicting court orders emerge over ongoing tussle for Kano throne. Senate pardons recalls suspended Senator Abdul Ningi almost 3 months after budget pardon saga. On the foreign scene, EU states announced formal recognition of Palestinian state. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. The organized labor has again rejected a fresh minimum wage proposal by the federal government. This time, the organized labor, comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, rejected the offer of the federal government to pay 60,000 naira as new minimum wage. The organized labor also shifted grounds from its 497,000 naira stance last week to 494,000 naira. A member of the tripartite committee for the negotiation of a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers said the federal government and the organized private sector side of the talks proposed a 60,000 naira monthly minimum wage as against the 57,000 naira they proposed last week when the committee last met. The government had initially proposed 48,000 naira and 54,000 naira last week, which were also rejected by the organized labor. Tuesday's meeting was, however, deadlocked as talks ended without an agreement on what to pay as a new minimum wage. The committee is yet to agree on a new minimum wage 3 days before the May 31 deadline the labor unions gave to the government to conclude the negotiations. And now joining us via phone is Oyerinde Smart, Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, to give us further insights on this particular development. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour.
Good evening and thank you for having us.
Welcome. Give us an idea of what went on during this contentious negotiation and how we arrived at 60,000 naira.
Now, it's first to clarify, and it's very important for Nigerians to understand this. What the committee was set up to negotiate is the minimum wage. The wage below which no employer to pay. The wage for the most vulnerable person, not the entrance salary for a graduate, not the average salary. It is the minimum wage. That is what we are negotiating. And the minimum wage 5 years ago was 30,000. And looking at the economic variables, because a fundamental pillar on which the negotiation, on which the conversations will rest, is the economic context. What is the state of the economy? Now, is the economy in a good shape that organized businesses is thriving? I don't think so.
Okay.
For organized businesses, it is more of double jeopardy. So our own position, while I will not dwell on government's position, I will focus on our position. The organized private sector position arose from the current state of organized businesses across the country. No business, I repeat, is making 100% profit in the last 5 years. In fact, it will surprise you that between last year alone, 2023,
right,
many businesses, and the viewers can Google it, the Nestle of this world, the Cadbury, the Airtel of this world, many businesses like that, they made a combined loss of over 1 trillion naira, which has compromised their ability to even pay the current minimum wage that we're talking about, current minimum wage that they are paying. So it was a hard sell, even for the organized private sector, to come to the terms of agreeing for a 100% increase in the national minimum wage. That was the offer that the private sector made. It wasn't a convenient offer. It wasn't an offer that was easy to meet, but to demonstrate good faith and our commitment to employee welfare, the private sector agreed to a 100% increase in minimum wage, in national minimum wage.
You have stated that the position of the Nigerian employers regarding this trajectory of the negotiation arose from organized business rates. Now, I'd like to hear from you. What then is your breaking point?
For us, we started from 54,000. The 54,000 wasn't frivolous. It wasn't just a figure that came from the blues. It was an analysis of what exactly is the current state of what businesses are paying.
Okay.
What exactly is the minimum or the median of taking all sectors, bringing all sectors together? What is the median of what they are currently paying?
Okay. And
by the time you get the median of what they are paying, then you look for the first quarter of what they are paying. That is what the minimum, around that range is what the minimum would be. And that is what the private sector has offered to pay. Now, it's also important to say this. I think very important to say this. In the last 2 years, many organizations have closed shop. They exited this country or they changed the model of business. Basically, when they say they change model of business, it's about reducing their presence in this place, with Nigerians, our brothers and sisters losing their jobs. Now, the focus is this. Are we concerned about saving jobs? Or it doesn't matter if people lose their jobs, because if a business becomes unsustainable, what a business owner will do, if your brother is a business owner, if I am a business owner, what I will do if the business becomes unsustainable because of whatever reason, is to close it. Then what happens to those people that are working in those places? We seem to forget those issues. We seem not to bring the context of productivity into the context of this conversation. And those are the issues for the private sector.
All right, then. I'd like to hear from you. Now that the Nigeria Labour Congress insists on 494,000 naira and the federal government keeps bringing 60,000 naira to the table, from your assessment, how close are we to a new national minimum wage?
Well, the meeting ended when you say it's deadlocked. From my understanding, the organized labor requested for time to go and consult more. And that was the point at which organized labor left the meeting. His last conversation was they are going to consult more, and the meeting continued after they left. And the chairman adjourned the meeting to a date that will be communicated to all parties. So engagement is still going, formal and informal engagement is still going, and hopefully by the time we converge for the next meeting, that there'll be a consensus and social dialogue with trials.
Okay, we do hope consensus at the next adjourned date of a meeting. Thank you so much. There we had Oyerinde Smart, who is the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. Thank you so much for your thoughts and insights on this development.
Thank you for having us once again.
Away from that, and now to the northwest part of the country. In a dramatic turn of events, the Federal High Court and the Kano State High Court have issued conflicting interim injunctions on the Kano Emirate, escalating tensions and uncertainty in the state. The Federal High Court in Kano, presided over by Justice S.A. Amobeda, issued an order for the eviction of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II from the Kofar Kudu Palace, reinforcing the authority of the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero. On the other hand, the Kano State High Court, under the jurisdiction of Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, issued an injunction to protect Muhammadu Sanusi and other key figures from potential harassments by state authorities. These conflicting orders have led to significant confusion regarding the rightful authority and protection of the emirs in Kano State. The State High Court's case is set for further hearing on June 13, while the Federal High Court has adjourned its case to June 4. As both courts prepare for their respective hearings, the people of Kano State await clarity on the matter. And I'm joining us virtually is Sunday Wogira, a legal practitioner. to give us further perspectives on the saga in Kano State. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. Now, we're dealing with an already complicated situation becoming more complex, especially looking at the conflicting and irregular dispensation of looking at the conflicting and confusing court orders. What is your reaction to the battle of the courts in Kano?
Well, they said, as it is said, rather, the judiciary is the last hope of the common. Not just the common, but even the mighty of the mightiest. And you have seen how everyone comes to court to seek for cover and protection. The grouse is that at the center of all this was the court, but the lawyers involved. Lawyers are going to court, they are misleading, and at the same time going to court to mislead the court. And they ended up making a caricature of the whole judiciary, which is most unfortunate and reprehensible. That is exactly the situation we have found ourselves today as a people and as a nation. If you look at the first injunction issued by the federal court, you will clearly get to understand that the judge was misled into giving that issue, because lawyers in their own treachery and in order to fulfill the wishes of their clients went to court before the Federal High Court, not on any chieftaincy matter, but under the guise of enforcement of fundamental human rights and the protection of same by the fundamental human right of the applicant before the Federal High Court, the Agundi. And that was mischief of the highest order by the lawyers in the matter. I blame entirely the lawyers in that matter for that mischief. Whatever bashing the judiciary is receiving today is as a result of the treachery of the lawyers in that matter. That matter has nothing to do with the enforcement of fundamental human rights. But knowing that they could not get that order within that time, they had to resort to misleading the court under the guise of protection of the applicant's fundamental human rights. I am of the firm conviction that in the long run, when the whole the judge is abreast of the whole matter from the respondents and the applicants, that matter will be dismissed. Because, the Federal High Court does not have the jurisdiction to entertain chieftaincy matters.
Okay,
so
you have stated that we're technically making caricature of the judiciary at the moment in the country, but I'd like to hear from you. At what point do we expect a body like the NJC to step in and mitigate the unusual and irregular dispensation of justice?
Well, the NJC should not be left alone in this crusade. The NBA as a body must also step in. Lawyers who would go and mislead the court, obtain theoric orders that will end up making a caricature of the court, must face disciplinary actions. And I think undertakings like in political cases must be extracted from lawyers at the same time when filing this matter, that this is strictly an enforcement of fundamental human rights issues and has nothing to do with any other triviality.
Thank you so much for your insight. Just before I let you go, just before I let you go, I have one final question for you. Legally speaking, I mean, how can the web of court orders be untangled?
Sometimes judges must also be circumspect in issuing orders of this nature, taking into cognizance the timing and whatever. There is nothing wrong in the court, instead of giving this injunctive relief ex parte, to order that the respondents or all parties be put on notice, and they should come and give reasons as to why injunctive reliefs should not be issued or ordered.
Okay.
And when they come to before the court, I think it must not be 7 days. These days can be abridged, and the court will save itself the embarrassment we are seeing now.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts on the Kanu Emirate saga. There we had a legal practitioner from Yola, Sunday Ugira. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the News Hour.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
Prices of tomatoes, peppers, and other perishable items in the popular Paringada market of Jos North Local Government Area, Plateau State, have skyrocketed amid scarcity of these commodities. Sellers are complaining about how the situation is affecting their business, as customers can no longer afford these items due to the price increase. The sharp rise in prices is not only impacting traders' livelihoods, but also putting a strain on consumers who rely on these staple goods for their daily meals. Adamusa completes the report.
This is the popular Paringada market, which used to be bustling with tomatoes, peppers, and other perishable items. Today, however, these commodities are scarce and hardly available, leaving market stalls looking empty. The scarcity has caused a significant price hike, with a basket of tomatoes that used to sell for 3,000 naira now being sold for 26,000 naira. Baba Suleiman, the vice chairman of the market, explained reasons behind the sudden increase in the price.
Firstly, it's due to this subsidy, so everything has changed. Fertilizer, petrol, everything. The money is high. Most of the farmers, they used to farm, they don't have that money to buy petrol and buy fertilizer. Most of them, they don't go to the farm again. So I think that's why we don't have much quantity like last year, because most of them, they don't used to farm again because they don't have that money to purchase all those things. And rain, secondly rain. If this rain drop like last year by this time, because last year by this time there is rain, but now we don't, no rain. So due to the rain, all these things will still scarce now.
Some traders explain how the situation is affecting their businesses.
The
situation is greatly affecting our business because people can no longer afford it. It is quite expensive. We are really in a difficult situation. This is where we source money for food, clothing, and other expenses. But today, the market is not flourishing. The price is high because the commodity is scarce even on the farms. The scarcity has significantly impacted the lives of small-scale traders. Some customers who spoke to Trust TV in the market also expressed their dissatisfaction over the situation.
The last time I came here wasn't even long ago, and it's like the price has tripled, and it's crazy because I mean the one I even bought last time was more than this for a cheaper price, but all of a sudden it's even lesser for a higher price. So I'm still contemplating whether should I buy or should I not buy.
Well, unfortunately, it's actually alarming because the produce are not available. The prices are very high, and it's really difficult for everybody, both the sellers and we, the buyer. We're not seeing the produce. We don't know if it's the government or the farmers. We really don't know, but we're really at loss, and it's really difficult for us, honestly. So we really don't know what to do. skyrocketed recently, and everyday tomato price is adding up. So I don't know what's happening with the agricultural system in Nigeria. So if the government can see into it, because a lot of people, I used to sell tomatoes like basically every day, but now a lot of people cannot afford the price of the tomatoes because tomatoes now has gone really up.
Stakeholders in the market have stated that unless the government reinstate the fuel subsidy, the prices of tomatoes, peppers and other perishable items will continue to be scarce and costly in the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Southwest region of the country, worshippers of Mutmoyinat Central Mosque, located at Ososo Street in Papa Ajao Mushin, Lagos, have expressed their grievances over the demolition of their mosque, blaming it on contractors' negligence. The report.
Worshippers at this central mosque became victims as they were trapped in an unplanned demolition in the ongoing construction of road and installation of solar-powered street lights by Lagos State government. They blamed the demolition of the mosque on poor handling of projects by contractors. As you can see behind me, remnants of the construction materials lie scattered around the collapsed mosque. Witnesses say that the heavy digging and placement of these materials compromised the stability of the mosque's foundation.
As at yesterday, we lost one of my members is just like 10 years old, Aniva. Her name is Aniva, and we got one yesterday again injured with one leg. Later got the information that we lost her too today again. So, and one of the young imam, his name is what's his name, Abdulatif Jeje, the son of the chief imam, was the one that was leading the congregation prayer before the incident happened. So that is in the hospital now, but responding to treatment.
When I was praying, I was seeing the sign, but I don't know what is going on. Lately, when I was at the last portion that we used to sujood, I'm seeing something black. When I salam like that, I told everybody, let us rush out. It's because I am at the front. Before like this, the thing have blocked me. Everybody have watching. But the moment of everybody watching is everybody have caught. But is that pillar that even fall on me, Sha? But actually, nobody give up downstairs. But it's only like two little. Yes, a story building. Female are upstairs and male are downstairs.
And now small brother, you can't pray for this mosque. You don't enter inside, you don't keep him market for outside. Now so that thing can happen. Now you don't die. You never see the body safe.
They are grieving over the loss of one of the Islamic students' graduates and others who were rushed to the hospital.
And now to the Northwest region. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has assured the people of Kaduna State that the security challenges bedeviling the state for years will soon be a thing of the past. The Defense Chief said this in Kaduna State at the commissioning of operational vehicles and motorcycles by the state government for security agencies in the state as part of efforts to contain banditry, terrorism and other criminal elements in the state. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more.
Kaduna has been facing banditry, kidnappings, cattle rustling, and terrorism for over a decade now, especially in Birnin Gwari, Igabi, Chikun, Zangwankataf, and other parts of Kaduna State. In order to restore peace in the affected communities, these operational vehicles are meant to improve the operations of the security agencies across the state. Governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, says the state will continue to support security agencies in the fight against insecurity.
The safety and security of our citizens remains paramount. It is our duty as a government to support the security agencies in carrying out their vital responsibilities. We recognize the challenges confronting our security personnel, especially in terms of mobility and swiftly accessing remote areas. Improved mobility means that security operators can respond faster and more efficiently to distress calls. It also means that citizens can feel safer because of the more visible security presence.
The Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa said the vehicles will boost the morale of personnel in carrying out their constitutional duties.
Let us commit ourselves to the noble cause of defending our nations with honor and integrity. Let us harness the capabilities of these vehicles to further enhance our operational effectiveness, protect our communities, and uphold the values of loyalty, courage, and unity that define our armed forces. We are not yet where we want to be, but we are moving there. And God willing, within the shortest possible time, total peace will be restored to Kaduna State. And we want to appeal to all of us to join hands together to support the security agencies, support the government of the day. The governor and his team have shown us that they cannot do it alone. They need everybody's support.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, represented by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Northwest, Bello Mokashi, said synergy between security agencies is key in fighting insecurity.
Let me emphasize the importance of collaboration between government and security agencies. At the same time, too, the synergy and collaboration between security agencies in the fight against crime. This is something that we have to look at so that we achieve the common purpose of maintaining the public space. And Nigeria Police is committed to its core mandate of providing safety and security to its citizens.
It is the hope of Kaduna residents that the 500 motorcycles and 100 vehicles will help address banditry, kidnapping and terrorism in the state. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Still on security matters, the Nigerian Army Groups of Operation Hadin Kai in Maiduguri, in collaboration with Civilian Joint Task Force Borno State, have arrested a soldier, Corporal Francis Bako, for allegedly stealing ammunition. Intelligence sources told Zagazola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad region, that he was arrested by military intelligence at Kano Motor Park, Maiduguri, following a tip-off. The sources said the soldier, who was from Malam Fatori, was heading to Kaduna before he was accosted and found in possession of 602 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition. The soldier is currently in custody of the military for further action. The Nigeria Customs Service has condemned the actions of its officers involved in a confrontation with vehicle inspection officers at the AYA roundabout, at the AYA roundabout, Abuja VIO office on Friday, May 24. A viral video of the confrontation showed officers in uniform engaging in a physical altercation with gunshots audible in the background. The service's position was made known in a statement signed by the National Public Relations Officer, Chief Superintendent of Customs, Abdullahi Maiwada, on Tuesday. According to Maiwada, the incident is under investigation and disciplinary measures will be taken to prevent future occurrences.
No, Sonny, no do. Sonny, no do. I get that. Can they do it in their office?
And now to the red chambers of the National Assembly. The Senate has pardoned and recalled Senator Abdul Ahmed Ningi, who was suspended on March 12 this year. The recall process was initiated on Tuesday after a motion moved by Deputy Minority Leader Abba Moro, who expressed regret on behalf of the suspended senator. He applied to assume full responsibility for Ningi's actions acknowledging the gravity of the suspension. The senator's conduct during the period of suspension has been a matter of scrutiny and debate within the legislative body. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, announced the unconditional recall of Ningi after a brief plea by some lawmakers. Ningi was recalled 2 weeks to the end of his 3-month suspension, which is supposed to terminate on June 12, 2024.
No doubt is our friend and is somebody we cherish so much. The spirit of this motion has met the demand and request of this Senate previously. An apology should be given for that unfortunate interview where we are almost put on the spot as if we did things we did not do.
I urge the Senate, having apologized, the leadership having apologized on behalf of our Senator Ningi, we should accept this apology so as to strengthen our spirit of brotherhood that we are known for.
Is there any senator who is opposed to this motion? Wow. So if there is nobody who is opposed to the motion, then I'll put the question. Those in support of the motion moved by the minority leadership and duly seconded that Senator Abdul Ningi, who was suspended from this August Assembly on the 12th day of March 2024, be recalled to participate in all proceedings of the Senate. Henceforth, say aye. Those against say nay. It is unanimous.
This is the News Hour on Trust Television. Still ahead. Nigerians give their verdict on Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. We'll bring you insights and details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The hunt for the next Afrobeat superstar is on, and the stage is set for the showdown.
As an Afrobeat song, I think we did justice to that.
This is Naija Star Search Season 2, where dreams become reality. With over 2,000 entries and limited spots, which of these promising talents will enter the Naija Star Search House to compete for the share of the grand prize of 20 million naira. Join the host, Ahis, and acclaimed judges Rapstar Vector, Delectable Sasha P, and Music Maestro Kobams as they take us on a journey to discover the next Afrobeat superstar. Don't miss the premiere of Naija Star Search Season 2 on April 20th at 8 p.m. exclusively on ST Nollywood Plus, and April 27th at 7 p.m. on ST Nollywood Epic. Get ready! Naija Star Search. Afrobeats to the world.
Should I keep quiet? And then we kept saying, can't we teach these people basic business, not hustling? Teach our people entrepreneurship, not hustling. Go to China, Guangzhou, different districts. They can turn fair. Am I saying what you don't know?
Yes, and you know why? Because we are coming from a sort of despite the narrative, anti-corruption. But you know, the anti-corruption agencies went to sleep in the last 8 years.
However, if you are to go backwards and do a kind of audit, you will be shocked to find that the resources so far expended on the SDGs far outstrips the achievements face to face.
Most of the time when you are involved, it's difficult for you to draw back and have a holistic view. Because what? Sentiment would always come to play, because all of us would definitely. I had, like I told you yesterday, I was 100% convinced that you cannot say you are qualified without bringing any document.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Labour rejects federal government's fresh 60,000 naira minimum wage offer and seized on 494,000 naira. Again, contradicting court orders emerge over ongoing tussle for Kanu throne. And on to more stories. Nigerian pilgrims under the FCT Pilgrims Welfare Board have complained of the food and accommodation they were given in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Some of the pilgrims who spoke on condition of anonymity due to fear of victimization by officials on Tuesday said the food and accommodation they were given was not commensurate with the 8 million naira they paid for the pilgrimage. A Facebook user had earlier posted a picture of creamy corn porridge, known in local Nigerian parlance as cocoa, pap or akamu, and 3 bowls of bean cake, known as fried akara, that was served to the pilgrims on Tuesday morning. The user also noted that some pilgrims have already started begging for money to buy food because even their remaining $300 that was promised to be paid to them in Saudi Arabia out of the $500 is not forthcoming from the authorities. One of the pilgrims said he developed ulcer after taking a sip of the cocoa as it was excessively sweetened with sugar that could cause harm to the health of pilgrims. The pilgrims who are camped at Nama Al-Asriya Hotel said the rooms they were given did not have toilets, adding that they were made to share a toilet with another room. An official of Nahakan, Mohammed Ahmed, while responding to the post, said it is investigating the claim. Nigerians have been speaking on the one-year anniversary of the President Tinubu's administration, which came on board on the 29th of May 2023. Since then, Nigerians have expressed dissatisfaction with the performance of the government that promised renewed hope, especially on the economic front, as policies executed in that sector are yet to turn around the economy. In this report, Noel Sampson speaks to relevant stakeholders on what needs to be done to get the country's economy back on track.
That I would be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of
The last 1 year has indeed been a period Nigerians will remember many years down the line, as the coming of the President Bola Tinubu administration ushered the country into a season of an unprecedented surge in the cost of goods and services. 1 year down the line, stakeholders have been speaking on the administration's policies and programs and their impact on the country.
To that extent, we need to put issues in context that, yes, the approval rating of Mr. President is very low at this point in time, but it's a shared responsibility and shared blame among all the elective political office holders, particularly the president and the governors. We have 36 governors, we have the executive president, and all of them are drawing budgets. The states are getting funding every month. What are they doing with it?
The impact of such policy decisions of the present administration in the lives of an average Nigerian. We have seen a couple of policy decisions of government that have not gone down well. And we have also seen some aggravated suffering, hardship, and which have also lowered the standard of living of Nigerians.
They also highlighted what the government can do to turn things around.
We need sincerity of purpose. We need commitment. We need collaboration, robust engagement among the 3 tiers of government.
So there should be some level of systematic policies of government, and they should implement it in a manner that it will not be also bringing such kind of ripple effect or a sort of counterproductive, in the sense that you apply the policies and make sure that it gives the required outcome.
Some FCT residents commented on the performance of the administration so far.
But you know, Nigerian system is our president, so there's nothing we can do about it. So we're expecting that things that have gone wrong in the Buhari administration, he will come in to help us to repair it. But for the past 1 year, I will not lie, it has been rough for the whole Nigeria. I'm not speaking for only myself. Everything has become so difficult.
1 year has been a difficulty for Nigerians. A lot of people have been experiencing hard time, complaining here and there about the government is not favoring and is stepping everything, the price of things go up, and people they were unable to afford a lot of things. Price of things change, fuel change, and it has not been easy all around for people.
Nigerians are hopeful that going forward, the present administration will work towards making life easier for the average Nigerian. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still in line with the president's 1-year commemoration in office, in furtherance of his commitment to delivering good governance, President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated several strategic projects across the country. This is according to Ajurin Galale. The presidency has denied reports that President Bola Tinubu will address a joint sitting of the National Assembly on May 29. In a press statement signed by the president's chief of media aide, Ajurin Galale, the claim is false and an unauthorized information. He says the office of the president was not involved in the planning of this event. Moving on to more stories. Jigawa State is charting a course for sustainable development through good governance characterized by transparency and accountability under the leadership of Governor Umar Namadi over the past year. This was emphasized during a ministerial briefing that showcased the administration's accomplishments to mark its 1-year milestone.
The press conference and ministerial briefing brought together the state's 16 commissioners and heads of extra-ministerial departments to review the achievements within their respective domains in alignment with the government's 12-point development agenda. Each commissioner detailed their success stories and outlined plans for the administration's second year. Stakeholders noted that these presentations have not only instilled hope but also demonstrated the unwavering commitment to delivering on its promises, as outlined in its 12-point development document.
Each commissioner present here plays a pivotal role in shaping policies, implementing programs, and delivering services that impact the lives of the Jigawa State residents on a daily basis.
Throughout our meeting today, we will be addressing various topics ranging from key policy decisions to community projects, from advancement in infrastructure to update on social welfare programs. It is our sincere hope that throughout this dialogue, we can foster transparency, encourage constructive dialogue, and ultimately work together towards a brighter future for all residents of Jigawa State and indigenous.
With notable progress in sectors such as agriculture, education, health, youth empowerment, and infrastructure, experts believe the people of Jigawa are witnessing a new approach to development in the state.
As climate change continues to negatively impact the lives and livelihoods of millions of Nigerians, former governor of Adamawa State, Bala Ngulari, has expressed his concerns, emphasizing that planting trees is a major way to combat environmental degradation driven by human activities. Ngulari voiced his concerns during the 5th anniversary lecture of Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri held at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Yola. Gibson Swadigo reports.
We must strive to be responsible and responsive.
Quintessence of politics was a topic for the 5th anniversary lecture of Governor Ahmadu Fintiri of Adamawa State. The lecture delivered by Professor Liman Tukur, Vice Chancellor of Modibo Adama University, Yola, highlighted the essence of politics and power sharing in a democratic system. Professor Liman complimented Governor Fintiri's 5-year tenure, noting that the governor has upheld democratic principles by executing people-oriented projects that will serve as lasting legacies in the future.
No matter how you are against the government of the day, the majority within the confines of this state are much more than individual interests and commitments.
When it was time for former governor of Adamawa State, Bala Ngilari, to speak, he expressed his concern over global climate change, which he described as a threat to human existence. Ngilari advocated for tree planting as a measure to combat the heat wave and desert encroachment, emphasizing its importance in managing these environmental challenges.
Right now, I think we are on the fringes of hell because of the heat here. And the only way to reverse this thing is to do one and only one thing: to stem the tide of environmental degradation and do what the governor has set out to do in terms of securing our environment, planting the needed trees.
Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Murfintri, represented by his deputy Professor Kalita Pofarauta, attributed the success of the administration to the support and prayers of the citizenry. He promised to deliver more democracy dividends in the next 3 years, underscoring their commitment to serving the people and fulfilling their responsibilities as elected leaders.
Politics at its core is not merely about the wielding of power, but about the pursuit of the common good, the promotion of justice, and the creation of opportunities for all.
Delivering separate goodwill messages, stakeholders laud the good governance roadmap being applied by Governor Fintri in changing the bad narrative of Adamawa State.
Kudos to His Excellency, Right Honorable Fintri, for taking Adamawa to this height.
Anybody taking over after Ahmadu Fintri,
I'm very proud to come from Adamawa State because of what I've seen over time. Not necessarily in the past 5 years, but right from time.
The lecture was chaired by retired Major General Aldu Anania, former Co-Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps. Gibson Soadgu, Trust TV News, Yola.
It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The federal government has called on Nigerian businesses and manufacturers to use the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme to boost the country's export market. Minister of External Affairs Metama Tuga said this at a one-day workshop in Oka, Anambra State. Tuga, represented by the Director of International Organizations in the ministry, Obina Onowo, say ETLS will give local manufacturers access to a market of over 400 million consumers across the 15 ECOWAS member states. The ETLS initiative of ECOWAS aims to enhance cooperation and integration in trade, ensuring economic stability by creating an economic union within the region for the well-being of the community's citizens. The group president, Africa Development Bank, Akumi Adesina, say Africa is losing about $7 to $15 billion annually to the ravages of climate change. Adesina said this during a media conference in Nairobi on the sidelines of the ongoing AFDB annual meetings. The meetings marked the 60th anniversary and 59th annual assembly of the AFDB and the 50th meeting of the African Development Bank. Adesina said while Africa contributed minimally to global emissions, it bore the burden of environmental degradation catastrophes. Now, stock market sustained gains of the previous trading session following late rally by blue chip firms led by Dangote's Sugar. Let's see how it went down today. Dangote Sugar leading the Guinea's equity. They're gaining 10% to close at 42 naira and 90 kobo. Nascon also up there 9.88% to close at 37 naira and 25 kobo per share. Of course, Morrison also up 9.88% to close at 4 naira and 45 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed up the market up by 0.52%. Volume of trade 559.608 million shares valued at 6.584 billion naira in a days of 7,881 lead exchanges among investors again today, this Tuesday, on the floor of NGS. Let's look at the top trading equities. AB Microfinance Bank leading them there, 277.527 million shares traded. Access Corporation 80.814 million shares. Of course, ABN First Bank of Nigeria holding 31.4 1.53 million shares it traded as well. Of course, some equities ended on the losing side of the market. Leading that table is Sovereign Insurance, down 9.52%. It closed at 38 kobo per share. Of course, Universal Insurance also down 8.33%. to close at 33 kobo per share. Of course, TPLC also down there 5.00% to close at 1 naira and 71 kobo per share. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Global oil prices steady on Tuesday as the prospect of OPEC Plus maintaining oil supply curbs at the June 2nd meeting and hopes of strong U.S. summer fuel demand balance concern about higher for higher U.S. interest rates. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $83 per barrel. For the oil basket, price drops to $81 per barrel. That's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you so much, Yusuf Akogu, for the business news. Now, away from Nigeria, the establishment of a Palestinian state is the only route to peace in the Middle East, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has said as his country announced the formal recognition alongside Norway and Ireland. Sanchez spoke on Tuesday before a cabinet vote that approved the previously announced plan to recognize the Palestinian state. Norway's recognition has also taken effect, while Ireland has also followed suit. Spanish government spokesperson Pilar Alegre announced that the cabinet had adopted an important decision to recognize a Palestinian state.
The recognition of the State of Palestine is not only a matter of historical justice with the legitimate aspirations of the Palestine people, but it is also an imperative need to achieve peace. It is the only way to realize the solution that we all recognize as the only possible one to achieve a future of peace, that of a Palestine state that coexists alongside the State of Israel in peace. I would like to underline that starting tomorrow, we will focus all our efforts to implement the two-state solution and make it a reality. We will work on three main priorities. First, we must urgently put an end to the ongoing unprecedented crisis in Gaza. I call once again for a permanent ceasefire, for the entry of humanitarian aid, and for the immediate release of all the Israeli hostages held by Hamas. Secondly, we will support the Palestine National Authority in the reform process initiated by its new government. The Palestine Authority is our partner for peace, and it will need all of our support. And finally, we will continue to foster cooperation with our Arab partners who are working and committed towards peace and prosperity in the region. We will continue working with them with the aim of convening an international peace conference to implement the two-state solution.
In sports, Nigeria finished in third place to scoop the bronze medals and book a place at next year's Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations after it had fought 3-2 win of host Ghana at the WAFU B Under-17 Championship on Tuesday. For several days now, there had been uncertainty about the number of teams that would proceed to the 2025 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations from the tournament in Ghana. But the window opened for the third-place winner here when minutes to kick off, Côte d'Ivoire, already in the competition final, was designated as host of next year's Continental Finals. Meanwhile, Nigeria missed the last Under-17 African Cup of Nations. But now, let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for more on sports news.
Nigerian African table tennis star Aruna Quadri, after dropping 2 places to 19th in the ITTF Continental Rankings in less than 2 months, has reclaimed the top spot, leaping to 17th position in week 22 of the 2024 ITTF Rankings released on Tuesday by the World Table Tennis ruling body. However, Egypt's Omar Assar slipped to 22 in the world rating after occupying the top spot in Africa in the last 2 months following his triumph at the last African Games in Ghana. Aruna, who recently won the ITTF Africa Cup in Rwanda this month, rose by 2 steps up the ranking ladder to become the highest rated African in the world. Assar's drop in the world ranking was due to the expiration of the quarterfinal points he garnered at the Durban 2023 World Championship in South Africa, which automatically made him lose some points. While others are dropping from the pecking order of rankings, Aruna's points remain static, with the free fall of others promoting his rise in the world rankings. Africa's biggest movers in May, Mohamed El Beleli, who became the 3rd best ranked player in the continent after finishing as runner-up at the 2024 ITTF Africa Cup after a 4-love loss to Aruna in Kigali, dropped to 49th in the world rating. Despite dropping by a step, Egypt's Dina Masaref held on to the top spot echelon of Africa's as the 24th best player in the world. Nigerian Premier League club side Sporting Lagos coach Abdullahi Bifo has admitted he feels troubled over the team's chances of escaping relegations this season following their 4-1 bashing in the hands of Rivers United in Port Harcourt on Sunday. On the return of the NPFL after a 4-week break, Rivers United inflicted Sporting 14th defeat of the season on them, with Andy Okwe scoring a hat-trick plus another goal from Samuel Antiwe. Michael Tokchukwu scored Sporting's only goal from the spot on the stroke of half-time. It marked the second defeat in 3 games for the Lagos-based outfit under Bifo, who took over from Paul Ofo in April. They are now 2 points above the drop zone with 41 points. The former Katsina United coach has been positive about their probabilities to escape the drop this season, but he also admitted the race was getting more difficult with 5 games to the end of the season. Sporting Lagos' last 5 games in the league will see them host title chasers Enugu Rangers on Sunday, followed by an away game to relegation threatened Bayelsa United, a home fixture against Plateau United before facing reigning champions Enyimba of Aba. The team will end the season with a Southwest Derby date against 3SC in Ibadan. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashemi.
You're up to speed with some of the emerging and reimagined stories in Nigeria and beyond. And with that, we've come to the end of the News Hour on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. On behalf of myself and the news production team tonight, we say thank you so much for watching. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.